Hey, welcome back to another episode of Friday Foods and Facts with your favorite guy, me. So, as you can see, I'm back on the screen. Y'all can see me now. I'm feeling better. Allergies were kicking my butt last week, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Eyes were all puffy, throat was itchy, nose was running. It was bad. It was bad. I couldn't show you guys myself. As you see, my energy level was down a little bit, but I'm back to my normal self this week. So I want to thank you for joining me on another episode. And I got a couple things I want to talk to you guys about today. It's kind of what's going on in the market, some things that the media has been talking about. And I just want to lay it out for you, give you the real facts. All right. So first, let's start with what's going on with the market. So right now, uh, home sales are actually down a little bit, and that is product to lack of inventory. Um, and so what's happening is sales aren't happening as much because there's less inventory, and so we kind of look at it like this: it's like it's like Super Bowl, right? The Super Bowl, the tickets sell out usually before the game, right? They're usually all gone, sold out before the game, and then on the day of the Super Bowl, no tickets are sold. It doesn't mean that people aren't interested in going to the Super Bowl. It just means that there is no more inventory to be sold. So the interest in and of itself hasn't gone down. It's just the lack of inventory. Same situation here with the mortgage market. The interest in and of itself has not gone down. It's just the lack of inventory. There's, not as many houses to sell. So activity is lower. Doesn't mean that people aren't bidding on the houses. It just means that there's less houses for people to win bids on, right? So bear that in mind. But what that means is it's actually going to be supportive of home values, right? Because if people are willing to continue to bid for homes and there's not as many homes to bid on, that's going to give the seller the ability to claim top dollar, right? They can put it out there for whatever they want and get essentially that because the buyer is going to be willing to pay it because there's less inventory. And also, the appraisals are going to come back at the range basically that the people are selling them for because there's less inventory. So if that doesn't make sense to you, it's because the appraisals will come back at where the contracts are set because there's nothing to dip home values right now. With as many people bidding on the houses as they are, sellers aren't having to reduce price. So because they're not having to reduce price, houses are selling at contract price, which then perpetuates the value of the house continuing to stay where it is at listing, and sometimes go even higher. I'll give you an example. I had an appraisal come back on a file uh, this week at the beginning of the week, and the appraisal came in a couple $1,000s higher than the actual purchase price. And that's because home sales in the area support that value. It's not that the appraisal is inflated, it's the fact that other homes in the area have been selling for that asking price. And as a result, this home appraised value came in higher than what the purchase price was because there was a support for it. So, what does that mean for you? It means don't expect to see home values come down anytime soon because people are still vying for property. But be aware that you may see a potential increase in home values because people are trying to buy, right? And there's less inventory. So they're going to be giving it all they got to get what they can, right? So that means they're going to make the offer at full asking price. If not, maybe a little more. If they went to the open house over the weekend and they saw there was a lot of activity, well, maybe they might want to offer a little bit more than asking price. That way they can try to secure the deal. And it just may happen that if they ask more than asking price, and the appraisal may come in at more than asking price, right? So that supports the value of the higher home value, right? So if you're seeing home values going up or staying the same for houses that have been sitting on the market maybe a little bit longer than has been typical over this past 2 years, just know that it's considered valid, right? It's not really going to change. So um, if you can get into the market now, so that when interest rates do drop, you will see benefit, being that you can refinance from it, right? And one of the things that'll kind of lead towards interest rates dropping is potential recession. We already seen large employers laying off large amounts of people. I just read an article recently this week where Disney is targeting thousands of its own employees. And Disney is a large conglomerate. So it's not just at the parks that they're going to be letting people go. They're looking at letting people go from ESPN, some of their other ventures, like Hulu. They have major ownership stake in Hulu, majority ownership stake actually. So, and in the parks itself and other Disney entities within the conglomerate. So that's just kind of giving you indication that if these people are starting to lay off now, we're going to see unemployment numbers go up. And if these unemployment numbers are going up, then that means that the people have less money to be able to spend on goods, being that they have less money to spend on goods, the cost of goods will continue to come down, which will help fight the inflation. But because there will be less job opportunity available, that's going to kind of kick into a recession mode. So just some things to be aware of. There's a silver lining in it. Yes, it is unfortunate. People are going to lose their job, but if you are one of the fortunate ones who are able to retain your job, use that to your benefit, right? Obtain property while you can. It's something to think about. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about regarding the market. Well, another thing I want to talk to you guys about regarding the media. You've seen a story, if you've been watching the news or if you've seen on social media. I'm sure you've come across it because everyone's been talking about it lately, that higher credit borrowers are getting penalized for having better credit, and that lower credit borrowers are getting a better deal, right? So the key to that is syntax, or the wording, right? The way that it's portrayed is that people with higher credit is going to cost them more. They're going to get penalized because they have a better situation, and that's not actually the case. What the media is trying to make it seem like is that the person with the lower credit, 620 credit, is going to get a better deal than someone with a 740 or 760 credit, and that's not the case. Loan level price adjustment, or the pricing for interest rates in the mortgage market, is a risk-based assessment module. So what does that mean? The people with higher credit are still going to get the better deal because they are showing themselves less risky. What's happening is the people with higher credit they're just not getting as good of a deal as they were before, because the available credits in their price range have come down a little bit. What's happening with those available credits is it's being shifted to lower credit, lower to mid-income borrowers. And this is happening because the government is trying to give people the opportunity with lower credit, maybe lower income, to get into home ownership. And so, it's being subsidized with the lessened credit that was being taken from the higher credit rated borrowers, and it's being given to the lower credit rated borrowers to help create opportunity for them and to continue to spur activity within our economy. Uh, because again, as I mentioned before, a while ago, months ago, uh, one of the largest drivers in our economy, actually the largest driver in our economy, is the housing market. That's where a vast majority of the money is spent in America. The housing market, trillions of dollars, right? Not retail, not um, like hotels and vacation stays, not entertainment. It's the housing market. After that comes everything else. So to avoid a crash, you have to do something that's going to spur the market. And so what they're doing is they're trying to, bring more first-time home buyers into the market, more lower credit borrowers into the market by creating opportunity for them to obtain property. And so that's what's actually happening. So don't go out there and try to tank your credit because you think you're going to get a better deal on a house because your credit score is lower than you would have if you had higher credit, because that's just not the case. If you have higher credit right now, maintain that higher credit. You're still going to get a better deal than the lower credit borrower. And there's programs out there that can negate those differences. If you are, let's say, a first-time home buyer and you have higher credit, you're going to get basically the same deal as a first-time home buyer with lower credit, because there's things that have been put in place to adjust loan level price adjustments for first-time home buyers. So maybe if you're a repeat home buyer looking to put down a lot more money, your deal may not be as good as it was a few months ago. But this also isn't new. The news media is just catching up to this. But I told you guys about this, I believe back in January or maybe early February. I brought this to you guys' attention about what the changes were in pricing. Lenders and investors have already built this into their pricing. What the news is just catching on to right now is the fact that these loans are now eligible for delivery, meaning they're going to be sold and shipped to the proper entities. And in order for them to be purchased by said entities, they have to follow X, Y, and Z guidelines based upon the guidelines themselves and how the pricing modules have been laid out. So investors have already taken this into consideration. It's not anything new. Like I told you before as well, the media is behind. I'm on the ground floor and I'm going to give you this information right away so that you are aware of what's happening as it's happening, rather than getting this lagging information that's causing quote unquote panic, right? So, I just wanted to kind of give you this information so that you have something to go off of from the ground floor rather than from past information, right? Like I wanted to give it to you right now so that you have a better understanding of what's actually happening and why and how it works. So hopefully this has made sense for you. Hopefully it's been educational and it's painting a better picture for you than the one that the media is proposing. So again, I appreciate you joining me for another episode of Friday Foods and Facts. If you're here in Michigan, I know this weather's been a little bit wonky, but enjoy what you can. Get out there. I know Saturday is going to be a decent day for the first half of the day. It may begin to rain towards the second half of the day. So if you got some things that you want to do outside, you may want to get up earlier and do them. Today, here Friday, it's pretty decent. So yeah, enjoy this while you can. I think we're supposed to get a lot of rain next week. So enjoy the time that you can outside, knowing what you can do right now. And thanks again for joining me on Friday Foods and Facts. I will see you all again next week. And don't forget, May 13th, we have the Friday Foods and Facts live at the Gospel Cafe in Detroit, Michigan. Be there. Don't miss out. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to get your questions answered, just for you to meet myself, Tramar Clay, in person, and just to learn, network, learn, see what you can do to increase your chances of home ownership. Or if you already are a homeowner and you want to be a repeat home buyer, and you have some questions about how does that work, come, bring your questions, and we'll discuss that. Oh, and if you're an investor and you want to purchase uh, multiple properties and you're not sure the route to go, call me. My information is below. Email me, or you can get in touch with me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can watch my videos on YouTube. However, just get in touch with me. There are programs out there for people that are looking to invest into the market, uh, that can help you obtain property, and I don't want to say an unorthodox manner, but in a way that you're not used to hearing about. I don't want to go into too much detail because it can be a little overwhelming for first time home buyers if you're not really truly understanding it. And it's not really meant for first time home buyers. It's more so meant for investors who have home ownership already, or who have proven that they've had home ownership and they're looking to purchase more properties. So with that being said, thank you again for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next week, and you have a great day. Enjoy your weekend, and I will speak to you later. See you.